Hello students and welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Shefali Nagpal, Associate Professor at Human Resource Development Center, Bhagat Phool Singh Mahila Vishwavidyalaya, Sonipat. Let us study the paper, The Development of the Management Thoughts, Principles and Types under Human Resource Management, and we will discuss the module Organization Structure today. After the completion of this module, you would be able to understand the concept of the organization structure and the basis of the organization structure. You would also be able to understand the meaning and the definition of the organization structure, understand the key elements of the organization structure, also the basis of the organization structure, that is differentiation and integration, know the various features of the good organization structure and the types of organization structure with their prominent features. Let us begin with the module with the introduction. Organization structure is the basic building block of an organization, just like the structure of the brain, which indicates about how a person thinks, feel and behave. The structure of an organization or so-called organization structure guide us about the working of organization processes and systems. It provides us information about work division, departmentalization, authority, responsibility relationship, that is the delegation of authority, reporting relationship, decision making, whether centralization or decentralization, and so forth. Organization architecture, organization chart or organogram are the different terms used interchangeably for the organization structure. It is the outcome of the organizational design. Management functions include planning, organizing, directing and controlling, and the activity of the organizational design comes under the organizing function. Organization structure present how the individual and the teamwork is coordinated to achieve the organizational goals. Moreover, it provides information about the reporting relationship, formal communication channel, how separate actions of individuals are linked. Organization structure depicts the relationship between the hierarchy of the people and its functions. Organization structure patterns the interrelationship and interconnected among the various components. Therefore, it tells us the relationship among the various activities and the positions. As positions are held by the people in the organization, thus it may also be called pattern of relationship among the people in the organization. Since organization structure is different from human and engineering structure, as it lacks anatomy, therefore can only be inferred with its operation. In this regard, Kaz and Khan observed that a social system is a structuring of events or happening rather than of the psychological paths, and it therefore has no structure apart from its functioning. Depending upon the size of the organization, volume of the sales, types of the ownership, type of the industries, manufacturing and service industry, the structure of the organization varies. Let us understand the meaning of the organization structure through the various definitions. Organization structure is the basic framework within which the managerial decision-making behavior takes place, as explained by the Prasad in 1995. Organization structure is a framework which involves grouping of jobs into various departments, the hierarchy of people, chain of command, workflow and reporting system in the organization. According to the Child, 1984, there are three components of the definition of the organization structure. First, it designates formal reporting relationship, including number of the levels in the hierarchy and the span of control of managers and supervisors. Organization structure identify the grouping together of individual into the departments and of the departments into the total organization. Organization structure include the design of the system to ensure effective communication, coordination and integration of the efforts across the departments. It was cited in the draft 2011 in the book on the organizational theory, change and design. According to the peers, Gardner and the Dunham. In the year 2011, organization structure include the interaction pattern that link the people to people and people to work, and these patterns are continuously evolving. An organization structure specifies the job task and shows how the same are formally divided, grouped and coordinated. This definition is given by the Robbins in 1999. Organization structure also provides an appropriate framework for the authority relationship. It means to help the management to achieve the organizational objectives. Key elements of the organization structure are work specialization, departmentalization, coordination through the chain of command, unity of command, span of control, delegation of authority, line and staff relationship, formalization, centralization and decentralization. Let us study in detail one by one. Work specialization. It implies that the work is divided into the small activities and these sub-activities are further divided into the smaller sub-activities so that the complex task can be converted into the simplest task. This is based on the assumption that more a particular job is broken into the simplest part, more specialized a person can become in doing that part of the job. For this purpose, first of all the activities are identified, then these activities are divided into the sub-activities and the work is assigned to perform these simplest tasks so that it can facilitate specialization of labor as it enhances the efficiency in the organization. Next is departmentalization. Generally, division of work or specialization is achieved through departmentalization. It is a process whereby the work of the organization is divided into the 4 units. These are function, product, geography, process and customer. There can be vertical, horizontal and spatial differentiation in the different organization. Horizontal differentiation is all about number of different functional departments or units at the same level, and the vertical differentiation is number of the hierarchical levels in the organization. Spatial differentiation is geographic dispersion of an organization offices, facilities and manpower. Third is coordination through the chain of demand. After the work specialization and departmentalization, according to the different forms, next thing is to coordinate the jobs, department, functions, divisions and hierarchical levels. This can be achieved through the chain of command. Chain of command is a line of the authority in the organization chart which explains who reports to whom. That means it shows the reporting relationship. Coordination can be personal as well as impersonal. In the personal, there is a direct contact between the managers and the employees, and in impersonal, contact between the managers and the employee rely on the written rules, regulations, standards, operating procedures. Unity of command is, in simple term, is a subordinate one superior relationship. Principle of unity of command states that subordinate should have only one superior to whom he or she should report. When one subordinate is accountable and answerable to one boss, there are less chance of communication gaps, hence better coordination and effective organization takes place. Span of control is the next point. Span of control refers to the numbers of the employees that a single manager can manage effectively and efficiently. It can also be defined as the number of the jobs to be considered under the specific group. According to the span of control, height of the organization structure is determined. For example, wider the span of control, it is the flat organization. Narrow the span of control, it is the tall structure. What should be the ideal span of control? The question is this. According to the Greek-Yunus, formula for number of the interaction is I is equal to n into 2n divided by 2 plus n minus 1, where I stands for number of interactions, n stand for subordinates. According to the Ralph Defis, executive span, that is middle and the top level managers, is at 3 to 9 and operative span is up to 30 workers. The factors that influence and affects the span of control are competency and preference of the subordinate and superior, nature of work, extent of standardized procedure, similarity of functions, complexity of functions, geographical dispersion of employees. Next is delegation of authority. Once the individuals are assigned with different activities that make him or her responsible for achieving the target or completing these activities, authority is conferred to them to discharge their duties. Authority is the power to manage the subordinate according to the rules, procedures and standard of an organization. According to Henry Fayol, authority is a right to give orders and provide to exact obedience. It is an authorization to an individual for decision making. Responsibility without authority is of no use. Authority comes from the various sources, for example, legal or formal position, competence that includes the skill and abilities, acceptance. As a manager or a person at a particular position cannot handle all the activities of his own. Therefore, he needs to transfer his authorities to the employees in the next level of hierarchies. This process of transferring of authority to the next level of the employees is called delegation. Delegation and redelegation process helps in distribution of authority at the various positions in the organization. Then, line and staff relationship. In the organization structure, some relationships are depicted through the straight line with the arrow and some are shown with the help of the dotted lines. This depiction of line and staff relationship is: line relationship indicates the superior is authorized to give the orders to the subordinate and subordinates are obliged to obey those orders. Staff relationship indicates tendering advice to the line managers by the staff members. It is not mandatory for the line managers to carry their work according to the advice tendered by the staff personnel. In organization, generally human resource management manager and the information technology manager act in the capacity of line managers as well as the staff. As you can see in this figure, the line and the staff authority of the organization structure. Formalization, the degree to which the job expectations are standardized or in black and white. There is a strict adherence of the rules, policies and standard operating procedure. Higher the degree, higher will be the formalization. Lesser the degree, lesser will be the formalization. Next is centralization. It is a degree to which the decision making authority is concentrated with the top level management. In the similar organization, generally all the major decisions are taken by the CEO or the MD. But as the size of the organization increases, the complexity in managing the business also increases. Therefore, the top level management or the CEO delegate the power to the lower level in the hierarchy to take the decisions. Because it is not possible for him to take all the decisions, some major decisions remain in the hand of the top level. According to the Lewis Allen, decentralization refers to the systematic effort to delegate the lowest level all authority except that which can only be exercised at the central points. Centralization and decentralization both have their advantages as well as disadvantages. Let us look at the advantages of the centralization. It helps in taking quick decision. It is good in the case of smaller organization. It leads to the efficiency if organization is operating under the stable environment, but this is generally not the case these days. Disadvantages of centralization. It is difficult in the case of large organizations. Employees' development is hampered because they are not involved in the decision making. Decentralization overcomes the disadvantage of centralization as in good in case the size of the organization is large and promotes the development of the employees. The basis of the organization structure, differentiation and integration. Organization structure refer to the differentiation and integration of activities and authority, roles and relationship in the organization. The basis of the organization design is differentiation and integration. Differentiation refers to the differences in the activities, functions, roles and cognitive abilities, skills required to perform those differentiated functions. Differentiation can take any one of the three forms in the horizontal, vertical and spatial differentiation. Horizontal differentiation. Horizontal differentiation is often referred to as departmentalization as it entails the way various activities are merged into groups. Departmentalization is the basis on which jobs will be grouped together. In an organization, there are various activities which can be grouped together to form the separate functions, for example, HR, finance, production, marketing, sales, customer care, quality control, research and development. Vertical differentiation. It is measured in terms of the number of the hierarchical levels. As the organization becomes larger and complex, there is a need for the greater vertical differentiation. Different hierarchical levels may include top level management, middle level management, lower level hierarchy. Spatial differentiation, it is a geographical dispersion of an organization offices, facilitate and manpower. For example, different business units or divisions, etc. These different functions require different skills, ability, and talent to perform those functions effectively. Each functional unit interacts with the other unit in different hierarchical levels in a unique manner. Hence, each functional unit has its own level of differentiation. But as all the departments or the functional units or the divisions are the part of the one organizational unit and their work is interrelated, interconnected, and interdependent upon each other, hence cannot be treated as isolated differentiated units. Rather, efforts are needed to be directed and integrated to achieve one common organizational goal. Therefore, despite differentiation, integration is the main aim of the organization design. Different type of organization structure depending upon the following factors are designed. First is formalization. It is the structure which is the outcome of the formal system in an organization where rules and policies are explicit in nature. All the rules are in black and white and everyone is supposed to obey by these rules. This formalization leads to more standardized and predictive behaviors from the employees. Departmentalization. Work activities are divided according to the specialized functions. For example, finance, human resource, marketing, production, quality control, research and development, purchase, material, sales, customer care, etc. According to the different product, processes or projects, geography, each and every department is different from other in terms of the functions and their managers are different in their skills, aptitudes and cognitive orientation. Different design structures on the basis of the departmentalization are as follows. First is functional departmentalization. This structure is based on the different functional areas of the business. Horizontal and vertical differentiation is displayed. Another is divisional departmentalization. This structure is based on the different divisions on the strategic business units of an organization. It is shown in the figure 3. Every division has its own functional departments which would further consist of the vertical layers. Geographical departmentalization. This structure is based on the different geographically dispersed positions, jobs or employees of an organization that are catering to diverse spread of business. Managers, sales at different locations are reporting back to the general manager and marketing at the headquarters. Project departmentalization. Organization where the work is undertaken on the project basis. Project structures are best suitable. Projects have some unique features. For example, these are for specific time and purpose. Projects are contracted from outside, unique and unfamiliar to present organization. Once the project is finished, then the team moves on to the next project. This structure allows the specialized skills of team. This allows the flexible and proper utilization of resources by allowing them on different projects. Process departmentalization. In this structure, group of activities are coordinated according to the particular process. For example, in an automobile industry, chief plant manager is looking after the 5 processes, that is design, machine shop, assembly line, chassis and other accessories, and inspection and quality control. This structure facilitates more efficient flow of work activities, but only some industries have such a specialized process. Customer departmentalization. In some industries, work is organized according to the customers. Customers are service receivers. In a hospital industry, there are various patients like inpatient, outpatients, and everyone has their different set of needs. So better is to cater their needs. Customized service approach is used in this particular type of departmentation. Plus point of this type of departmentation is individual customer are taken care by the specialist. But disadvantage is that there is a duplication of functions and restricted view of overall organizational goal. Hierarchical levels deals with the layers through which authority will be delegated to get the work done. Once the jobs are assigned to different individuals and teams, they become responsible for their jobs. But all the jobs are not to be done by the manager. although he or she is discharged with the authority, but as he has to get the work done from the others, so he must delegate the authority to the junior staff. Authority structure explains who will interact with whom or reporting relationship. Depending upon the authority structure and delegation of authority, hierarchical levels are decided and thus cause the formation of the taller, flat and the flatter structures. Centralization and decentralization. By considering the advantages and the disadvantages of the centralization and decentralization of authority, the organizational factors and organization structure is designed. Details of centralization and decentralization is discussed in the section 4 of this module. Let us see the type of the organization structure. There are traditional structures, which are simple structure, bureaucratic structures, matrix structure. Contemporary organization structures are team structure, network structure, boundaryless structures, virtual structures and learning structures. Let us see one by one all of them. Simple or pre-bureaucratic structures. These can be observed in the small scale units and startup units. Usually, due to the small level of business, activities are manageable and are managed by the single person, and decision making power is centralized to the single authority. Decentralization is at the low degree, span of control is wider, centralization of the authority is in the single person, formalization is very little. Bureaucratic structures are characterized by the certain degree of standardization. These are rigid structures. These structures have tight procedures, rules and regulations. These are suitable for the large and complex organization. Strict and many hierarchical levels are there and the chain of command is followed. Span of control is narrow, therefore they have the taller structure. Departmentalization is higher, standardization is high, hierarchical structures, there are many hierarchies. Span of control is narrow and formalization is high. Bureaucratic structures followed the strict, rigid procedure that does not promote creativity and innovation. Decisions are made through the organized process. Bureaucratic structures make an organization hard to adapt to the changing environment, good for the managers who have command or control style of managing. Matrix organization structure. Matrix organization structure combines functional and divisional project departmentalization. This structure creates dual line of authority and it has dual authority system. This structure violates the principle of unity of command as one employee has to report back to the two bosses. Complex and interdependent activities are coordinated with the help of the matrix organization structure. It is useful in the case the organization faces HR and financial constraint. In case organization is facing uncertain environment, it has to respond quickly to the changes. It can use matrix organization structure. Matrix structure does not constitute only multiple commands but calls for the related support mechanism and culture. According to the Davis and Lawrence, matrix organization is matrix structure plus matrix system plus matrix culture and matrix behavior. The main features are dual focus, shared resources, pressure of high information processing, emphasis on the professional competence by elaborating authority of knowledge rather than authority of position. We can see the matrix structure in the figure. The problems matrix structures are, there is due to dual command, there is a problem of the power struggle. Balance of power is the key for effective functioning of the matrix organization structure. Initially, it is a costly affair. If not properly managed, it can result in delayed decision making. Depending upon different levels of centralization and formalization, hierarchical levels and departmentalization. Let us study the contemporary organization structures which include team structures. These are the contemporary structure organizations which are using these days where the focus is on the teams to coordinate the activities. Team organization structure catered to the competencies of the team as a whole. Therefore, the employees need to be competent enough for the high horizontal coordination and therefore the cost of human resources is high in this structure. Departmental barriers are removed with the use of the teams and especially self-managed teams. As the self-managed teams are used, hence employees need to be both generalist as well as specialist. Decision-making power is decentralized to team level and rigid bureaucrat structures can be eased with the flexibility of the team, thus tries to create flexible bureaucracy. For example, Motorola Xerox are the companies using the team structure to coordinate their activities. Network structure. In this, managers coordinate the work by networking between internal and external relations via electronic means. External relations include outsourced work given to the outsourcing agencies so that it can better focus on its cover area. This is done to achieve the low cost strategy of the firm. Boundaryless structures. This term was coined by Jack Welch during his stint with the General Electric as a CEO. As the very name suggests, these structures have no boundaries as it eliminates the traditional barrier between the departments as well as the barriers between the organization and the external environment. In these structures, departments are substituted by empowered teams and effort is made to make the structures more flexible and organic. To remove the obstacles of the bureaucratic and the mechanistic structure, hierarchical levels are removed and the chain of command is eliminated. Span of control is kept limitless, hence flatter structure. These are the structures where SMTs are used who creates their own roles according to the situation as opposed to the traditional and hackneyed jobs. Boundaryless organizations are of the two types. Modular organizations are the non-essential functions are outsourced and organization just focus on value generating functions. Strategic alliances, two companies or the competitors identify an area for collaboration of work towards a partnership or joint venture. In this way, traditional boundaries between the two may be broken. Boundary-less organization may involve eliminating the barriers separating employees, physical and intangible barriers both. Physical barriers involve removing cubicles among the employees. Intangible barriers involve eliminating the management layers. Virtual structures. A special form of boundaryless organization is virtual. Hedberg et al. Opined that the virtual organization not exist physically but enabled by software. Like network organizations, these organizations outsource its major business functions and is connected with the agents through internet. There is hardly any departmentalization and highly centralized structures. Although organization can be small, yet operating globally through internet and can be market leader in its niche. For example, Amazon.com. Learning structure. Concept of the learning organization was developed by Peter Senge. In his book, The Fifth Discipline, learning organization is an organization where experimenting, learning new things and reflecting on new learning are the norms. It is an organization which has developed the capacity to continuously learn, change and adapt by adopting the knowledge management practices. Learning organization has a team-based organization design that empowers employees and there is an open sharing of the knowledge. These organizations have strong culture of trust, openness and shared values. 3M facilitates learning organization concept by allowing its employees to work one day in a week on personal project. In IBM, learning spirit is encouraged by putting successful business managers into EBO, that is emerging business opportunities. In IBM, mistakes and failures are tolerated and risk taking is encouraged and this way they build a learning capacity. Thus, overall we have seen that there are various design structures which range from the structured and standardized bureaucracy to loose and limitless boundaries. Rest all, other designs ranges between the two extremes. These two extremes can be reconceptualized and redefined in terms of the organic and the mechanistic models. Depending upon different level of centralization, formalization, hierarchical levels, departmentalization, two extreme forms of structural models are the organic and the mechanistic model. Let us now summarize what we have studied in this module. Organization design, which is a specialized function under the organizing, is concerned with designing of the organization structure. It is the architecture of an organization. It is the arrangement of the individual and team jobs to show that how the entire work is coordinated in the organization. It depicts job, departments, positions, authority responsibility relationship, line and staff relationship, chain of command, span of control, centralization and decentralization, formalization, etc. Organization structures are of the various types. These are simple structure, bureaucratic structures, matrix structures. Based on the different levels of formalization, centralization, departmentalization, hierarchical levels, various structures are designed. In the recent years, new and contemporary structures have also evolved. Among these are the learning structure, network structure, virtual structure. Depending upon the various departmentalization, various structures are created, for example, functional, divisional, geographical, product, customer, process, and project structures. Overall, there are two extremes in which all the designs exist, which is called organic and mechanistic structures. Structures are designed according to the strategy, size, technology, and environment of an organization. Structural relationship affects the employee attitude and the behaviors, which further lead to individual performance and satisfaction. Thus, by taking into the consideration the advantages and the disadvantages of the factors on which it is based, structure should be shaped, assessed, and reshaped so that it helps the organization to meet its purposes and increase the organizational success. Thank you.